There's a postcard picture, our camera on the Toronto Island looking back across Lake Ontario towards Skydome. Logos are a bit of a story for both these teams. In addition to the new one the Baltimore CFLers have, looking very much to me like a spirited young horse, the name of which we're prohibited by court injunction from giving you. The Toronto Argonauts, one of the most storied franchises amongst established CFL teams, also have a new logo. It's really a stylized version of the one they had several years ago. It's worth looking at because it does not appear on their helmets, as you can see. Only the letter A does. Didn't have time to get it on this year, but it should be on in years to come, Don. Welcome now to the season's first edition of Live at the Half. Baltimore leading 18-7 through 30 minutes. In Baltimore, the Horses with No Name have sold 25,000 season tickets. They had almost 30,000 out for a preseason game last week, and they're hoping for a crowd in excess of 40,000 for next week's home opener at Memorial Stadium. Looks like the folks in Baltimore are embracing this game from the Great White North 10 years after rejection by the NFL. The NFL Baltimore Colts were one of the most storied of all professional football teams, winners of 3 world championships, led by some of the game's greatest names, like Don Shula. Colts fans were considered by many to be the most loyal in any sport, even in 1969 when Joe Namath delivered on his promise. In 1971, Jim O'Brien kicked the winning field goal for Baltimore in the Super Bowl. But the core of the Baltimore legend is quarterback Johnny Unitas, perhaps the first true superstar quarterback in the modern-day NFL. In the dark of a March night 10 years ago, the legends were reduced to ghosts. Owner Robert Irsay loaded up the moving vans and left for Indianapolis. It seemed inconceivable that Baltimore would be without its football team, but for 10 years, Memorial Stadium sat empty. When the NFL bypassed the city in its most recent expansion, Baltimore could wait no longer, and young businessman Jim Speros landed a CFL expansion franchise.
We're 102 years old. We're the oldest sports league in North America. We think we've got a lot of tradition that we can add to Baltimore, and of course we really welcome Baltimore being part of our league.
The Colts may have more CFL experience than some established CFL teams. Head coach Don Matthews was their first signing, and his first player signing was quarterback Tracy Ham. 23 years ago, Johnny Unitas watched a winning field goal. Last week in a preseason game against Winnipeg, he saw another.
The kick is up. It is. Yes! Baltimore wins. They kick it out. Yes! Yes!
And here is Jim Speros, the man who landed a CFL franchise for Baltimore 5 months ago. Jim, it's not fair to suggest, obviously, the CFL is going to make people in Baltimore forget the city's NFL history, but can this team be taken just as seriously as were the NFL Colts?
Absolutely. Baltimore's a football town, and they've embraced us in the last 4.5 months that we've been there, and the whole town's excited about us being in town playing football.
What is the status of your court battle to retain the name Colts? You were hoping for a positive decision this afternoon, I understand. Didn't get it.
No, we asked it for the injunction to be lifted. That didn't happen, so we'll be in court on August 3rd. And the venue, I feel, should be in the state of Maryland. But we're going to fight for the name because we feel the name, the Baltimore CFL Colts, belong in Baltimore.
Has the court injunction, in a way, galvanized the fans?
Well, you know, it's a slap in the face. I mean, this town has been without football for 10 years. And football's back. We don't feel the NFL should be taking our name.
Okay, Jim, thanks for your time. Best of luck in the rest of this game and throughout the season.
Thank you, Scott.
Jim Speros, Baltimore Colts lead Toronto 18-7 at halftime. Stay with us. Live at the Half will return to Skydome in Toronto on a glorious night in just a moment.